Hello everyone. Okay, so today I am following on with this project. I didn't get working at this weekend because the storm blew a bit of a tree down on top of the phone line, so I had to repair it yesterday up the road. So that's done now, so I'm going to continue here. Hopefully it doesn't rain because it is quite dark out here, God. So I was planning to have this sandblasted yesterday and all, but the BT phone line was completely broken and I had no internet. So that was the plan yesterday, to get that fixed. So I'll bring the camera up close here now and I'll get started. So what I'm going to be doing today is see this mirror finish. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but see this mirror finish that I have created here. I'm going to protect it. So when I go to sandblast it, the grit doesn't discolor it, doesn't remove the shine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a car tire. I'm going to cut this open here now and get it flattened out, and I'm going to make sure these mirror surfaces, these mirror plates are completely covered for the sandblasting stage. So I will be sandblasting right up to this point, but not up the plate, because this is going to be powder coated and the plate's not going to be powder coated. So as I say, for the ones jumped on there, I was meant to do this yesterday. I was meant to do 2 live streams, but I had no internet. I had to repair the phone line away up the road. See, it starts the electric pole. See this one? This broke up the road. See that big tree? What do you see? I'll point there. Do you see that tree? What do I see now where it is? This one. It hangs over the road. A big branch broke off it and fell down on the phone line and just pulled it apart. So B was giving me a time, approximately about 2 weeks to fix it. So I went up and repaired it myself yesterday. So we're ready to rock here now anyway. So I'm going to get started. As you can see, the sky is dull, right? If it rains, I just have to go in the garage. So we'll get started here now anyway. So thankfully I got it fixed and I'm now ready to rock here. So it held me up a day, well, a week, because Saturday is the only day I get to work at the projects, and I'm not going to be doing much today apart from covering these. So we'll start with the car tube, right? I'm just going to cut it open. If it rains, I have to maybe move on to the garage. But I like working out here in the daylight. If you want to call it daylight, because it's quite dull. So this will be a protector for the mirror finish, the mirror plates, the mirror surface. Might get the knife to open this. Nice and straight. It's a knife sharp enough. I don't know if this is on YouTube. Thanks to Gary at Modern Tires, it's the brand. Give it to me. I think it's old. Okay, so what I want here is the most, well, as flat as a surface, flat as a piece of rubber as possible. So I'm just going to now, let me see here. So the plates are approximately, what are they? 200 mil wide. So I'm going to cut this maybe about 250, because I need to cover the sides too, seen here. So it's round, it's not square, but it will do. How's it going there, sir? Right. So the first thing I'm going to do here, right, is I'm going to put a hole in the center of it. And this piece of rubber is going to be clamped down with the bracket that I've got made for the hanger for the oven. So this part will be clamped on top of the piece of rubber. So a wee hole in the middle first. Without breaking it. We'll do it this way. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp that, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut the other one too when I'm at it. It's already cut, so it's a wee bit bigger, but it's alright. I'm going to cut it, I'm going to match it to the plates when I have it drilled here. I have to cut this one. I think that's through here now, and I'm not happy with that one. Okay. I'm just not happy with that one because I can't risk leaving that hole a bit too big. So what I'm going to do here instead is I'm going to just cut it this way. V. There we go. Cut this one out again. There we have it, a wee kneader hole. So what I'm going to do instead of using this one too, I'm going to do that instead of trying to drill them. Since I've got more rubber here. So a wee V again. Then we have a kneader hole, trying to drill. So next week, this thing will be looking pretty. So here we go now, let's get this clamped, two of them. Then we'll get them cut nice and neat. Making sure there's obviously nothing inside of it because we're going to mark the mirror. But there won't be anyway because the tube is just opened. There's like an old powdery stuff inside it right now. Do no harm. Here we go. So this now can be fixed directly to the top of the plate, okay? I need to make sure that the tube has no powder stuff on it because it will be attached to the side of the mirror finish surfaces using a really strong double-sided adhesive tape. I will give it a run with thinners, but before I do that. So obviously I need to cut this nice and neat to match the plate. It might be better to give them a rub with thinners first, you know. So we'll just give them a rub of thinners now before we get started here. To make sure that this double-sided tape takes a good hold to it. Otherwise, if I didn't do this, the sand, the grit would get in and damage the mirror finish that I created. We don't want that because I want this so when I powder coat it, that it's finished and I don't need to polish the plates again or sand them. So that stage is completed. All the hard work from the earlier live streams. So as I say, mentioned at the start of the video, for the ones who jumped on, this was meant to be done yesterday, but the storm blew the BT phone line down. Well, it blew a bit of a tree down and smashed the phone line, so I had to repair it myself because BT couldn't come out for a couple of weeks because of there's that many breakdowns. So I had one internet yesterday. So we're lining this up now with the hole on the plate. So there's no grit on this. It's in the garage covered since I polished it. So that's going to be on there like so. So you can probably tell there now, I'm the extremes of my project, combining powder coat or mild steel to stainless. So there's more effort like this required. So here's the hanger, the part of the hanger that I made on live stream, I don't know, 4 or something. So this is going to be just on here to keep the rubber tight around the holes that's for the hanger. It's getting dark. And you know what I don't have now? An Allen key. Wherever that went to. I'm going to go and look for it. Got it. Okay, I'll bring this up nice and close. So making sure that I'm lined up here in the hole because we don't want that screw scoring the top of the mirror edge that I have put on it. So that's one in. Same thing to this side. Make sure I'm in the hole. I'm not running around on top of the plate. There we go. So that's perfect. So that is the hanger for the oven for the powder coating booth. So that'll keep the rubber nice and tight. Well, I might need to put a wee washer on there to side. What I got one here. Gonna have to get them out of the garage. So I got 6 mil barrage. They were 5 mil stainless. I could put the washer below. No, I'm not going to do that because we want this flat plate to crimp the tire on the mirror finish. So that now, yeah, there we go. That's perfect now. So when I sandblast this now, no sand will get into this part of the mirror plate because I've got it locked down there. So the 2 pieces of rubber now will be dressed, will be cut to match the mirror where I want to sandblast to. So same goes for this one. We're going to use a washer. and we're just going to lock this plate down against the rubber and against the mirror finish. Try and keep the washer centered because it is a 6mm washer. Perfect. So there now, it's lovely and tight. So when I sandblast the rubber, the grit, the sand will just bounce off the rubber and won't damage the mirror finish. And obviously there's no holes in this. So you don't want the sand to get in there at all. Because even if the sand does get in, and when this thing's powder coated and finished, we don't want to be rubbing the sand against the mirror finish. So we have to make sure this is sealed now completely, these two plates, without interfering, without getting in the way of this frame. Okay, so I'm going to cut this roughly first, without making a mess of it. So I'll put a wee line up here first, or cut it up this point. Okay, so there we go. What I could do is I can get a marker, and I could mark it. Yeah, I'll do that. Hold on, I'll get a marker. So as I say, had to repair the phone line yesterday. It blew down up the road. So we had no internet to do any projects. So a black marker on black, but I can see it. So I'm just going to cut this a wee bit rough. Okay, so we have the mirror in there. Yes. And if I lower it down, we're hiding it. We want to protect it. So that's really important here, because I cannot waste any more time on this. So that now will be glued with 3M tape, nice and tight, but I have to cut it neat yet. But I'm just going to remove all this clutter, this overhanging rubber here. So I'm going to move the stand over a wee bit with the camera. So I need to do the same with the back, but first things first, I'm going to just work down the sides here. So I'm going to get up on the bench. Oh, without it falling apart. So I'm going to leave the wee overhang for the meantime. Okay. So next week this will be maybe a red or a purple, I'm not sure yet. I was hoping for some suggestions. Oh, too close, a wee bit further apart, Jeffrey. It's going to be a candy colour, candy white or candy purple. So now I need to protect the back too. So I can't really get the camera in there, but I'll do my best. I think that's alright there, is it? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll put... So I need to cover more or less the entire mirror plate. So obviously I'm not going to tape this with tape, like a masking tape. I'm going to apply a really strong double-sided tape, 3M brand. So here we go. I'm just going to... I can maybe go ahead and cut this one nice and clean, you know. So what do I see? There. So I just cut the bottom to the bottom of the plate. So there we have two marks now, and I can basically just run the scissors right over there. So I just need to move this camera a wee bit here. So I'm going to use this straight edge maybe to mark it first. I could go up a wee bit, you know, maybe 5mm, but it's not important because don't really need to sandblast the actual stainless plates, you know. So you want this as neat as possible. You don't want it hanging down on the mild steel because we need to sandblast the mild steel. So I'm just going to maybe keep it up a wee bit. it's the front. I really work. Look, that's perfect. So what I can do there now, look, is I can have a really strong double-sided tape. Sorry, when I bring the camera around there. It's hard to get us into all these positions. So what I can do now is I can have the strong double-sided tape. Might just go ahead here and put that on actually. And hopefully it takes to the rubber. Or the rubber takes to the tape. So this can be removed when the sandblasting stage is completed. So the double-sided tape I'm using is 3M. That's really strong stuff, really sticky. It's don't know, I think it's 1 mil. That's the depth of it. So here we go. So that's perfect there. So we'll focus on the sides later. So I don't want to scratch the mirror with the scissors. So I'm just going to pull it apart. What do I see? If I get it into view here? That's alright. Right, so I'm just going to pull it out a wee bit. Maybe. Or run the knife down. Let me see where the knife is. So where am I working here? I probably should have took the tape around the corner, you know. No. That's too risky. That is perfect. Right, the other side too. So up here too. Okay, so there's a bit of mold to come off that. It's getting really dark out here. Dark, dark, dark. So we don't want it overhanging because it'll interfere with the rubber. So I took a bit of mold off it there. So this now acts as a seal between the rubber and the mirror plate. So when I go to sandblast this, I'll be directing the sandblast or the nozzle down the way rather than up the way. So I'll be hitting the rubber and skifting off it and going down. So we're not going to blow this into a balloon or anything. We're going to just be directing the nozzle down at all times. This is the only way you could do it. You have it perfect. And I will be keeping an eye on it, making sure that it doesn't open. And I might also have a bit of don't know about a cable tie, because a cable tie is only going to clamp the edges. If I pull a cable tie around here, I might need to put 2 flat plates in too. Can't get that out there. My nails are useless. Is that sticking to that middle? Is it? It is. Or is it? Let me get a look. Let me get a look. It is. Right. Let me just see if that rubber's not overhanging down too far there. You can't see because of the swamp. Okay, so that's done. So as you can see, it's kind of tricky, isn't it? But everything I do is tricky. Oh, makes no change, does it? So this side now too. So the mirror plates are already clean. Obviously because I have it polished. I would be better rubbing it with a wee bit of thinners, you know. Just dabbing it with thinners. So I don't want to be rubbing it. Just want to dab it. Just acts as a wee primer, you know. Let it dry off. Because it wasn't sticking too well there. Is it dry yet? No. I don't want to rub it, as I say. It's using my hand to sort of... Okay, let's try again here. Yeah, I think it's better now. Yeah. Big difference. Should have done that at the other side. I should have done it at the other side too. Right. So we want this nice and light. So when I go to sandblast that, I'll only be sandblasting up to the bottom of the tape. Yeah, so the weld is my style, but let me see if I pull this off. It's polished there, you can see how clean it is. There's no corrosion in it. It won't need sandblasted. Or will it? Let me get a look. I'll raise the tape and I'll sandblast it too. Give it a wee bit of grip. Yeah, so we're going to sandblast the weld too. Why not? Just to make sure. So thanks for all the ones there for giving me the thumbs up. I appreciate it. It's a simple task, but I'm trying to walk around the camera here. So downhill here now, keeping the knife off the face or sort of the wee angle because the knife's blunt, isn't it? I'm gonna have to go and get a new blade on it. Should have cut it with scissors. Let me get a look here. Right, might just get a new blade. I don't like running the knife down the side of it, what do we see? So what I can do is I can cut it clean and I can stretch it. Just cut it up with a mill off it there, and then you can just pull it out. Like so. So there now we have the second thing. So I want the piece of rubber to go to the bottom of the tape. I don't want to overhang it. We can blast this part of the mirror polish because I will be hitting that with powder. Okay. So let's go again here. Let's get this cut. This side is nearly complete. Right. So what do I see the best way to mark this now? Probably using the scissors here and just going like so, up a wee bit yet. That's perfect. Do the same to the side, so we're just sort of marking it with the scissors to the bottom of the tape. With a wee tight pull on it downhill. So what I can do now is I can use the ruler. The square, the ruler part of the square, and I can just draw a wee fine mark. Maybe a wee bit higher because I can put a wee bit of tension on it. So this rubber is going to act as a protector for the... Let me see if I get this sitting. I can't. Okay, so I'll just have to do it roughly. That's the worst marker. It's pure white, but... So we can sort of see what we're doing there. So I'll cut this now, maybe up a bit, just in case. Doesn't matter if it's overhanging a wee tooty bit to the bottom. That's perfect. You know what I mean? It's only a protector. It looks like it's sort of deceiving because you see these two lines in the tube. You see the two lines in the tube? There's obviously a large radius there because it's a tire. It looks like it's curved, but when I pull it down, it straightens out. So, got on the detail there. So we're just going to get a wee juke at it again. Yeah, that's not bad. So as I say, when I blast this, I only be blasting here for a split second. Okay? I'll be more focused on the box iron. And I will clamp this with maybe cable ties and 2 plates too. But this here's acting as a seal too, as well as holding the rubber. So we're going to just tape this. We're not going to get it any better looking. So what I could do with the sides, I could do it a couple of ways. I might just turn, we'll see now in a minute. So pulling the rubber a wee titty bit and just pushing it tight. And there we have a lovely protector on the mirror plate. So what I could do is I could do this 2 ways, right? I could go like this and double it round. And just sort of aiming the nozzle downhill there. And if I cable tie this around this way and do the same with the side, the sand, the grit won't get into the mirror finish. When I finish blasting, I won't be taking a cloth to the mirror finish. I'll get an airline and I'll just blow off the mirror surfaces to make sure there's no sand on them. And I'll also get a hose, a sponge, a fair liquid, and I'll just remove any grit before I put a dry cloth to it, just in case we mark the mirror. But if the mirror is marked, I can always polish it at the end again. Just a wee quick lick to get it to that stage. There again. So I'm going to do the other side now, and I'll move on to these edges in a moment. So as I say, there's the best way to do this. This way would be to do that. What do we say? Rather than trying to cut the. We don't want. I don't want to cut this and trying to leave it nice and neat, because it's not going to happen. It's a lump of rubber, and it's a car tire, and it's curved. And the best thing to do here would be to push this flap in and pull this over nice and tight, and have it like so. So this is only going to be a one-time task. At least it'll be chucked away in the end. It's just to protect the mirror plates. So we'll do the other side now. And then I'll do the sides. So, what do we see here? What way did I do it again? I marked it, didn't I? So, pulling this down and having a wee mark roughly along there. You don't want it too short. It won't be too short because I'm going to cut it past the mark for the meantime. So I was meant to do this yesterday, but my phone line blew down and BT weren't going to come out for a week, so I had to take matters into my own hands and fix it myself. It blew the tree, a bit of a big branch blew off a big tree up the road and landed on the phone line and just destroyed it, broke it in half. But it's now repaired temporarily till next week, till they come out. So sorry I got no videos put up yesterday, but I had to get the line fixed because I needed it for my research on Monday. So I'm just going to double check this before I start cutting anything. Make sure the mark's not too high. I'm just going to come down a wee bit maybe, because I am going to cut this again. So you can see the roundness there on it. This doesn't need to be neat at the minute. Okay. It's as rough can be, isn't it? But as I say, I'm going to cut it again anyway. So when I tape it. So now you're going down the sides here. So moving out about a ½ inch. Pulling the rubber nice and tight. So this is in order for me to sandblast the frame, because the frame's my style and the plates is more polished. Okay. So same thing here, and at the top here we have this bracket, the hanger for the powder coating booth, and the oven, which is used to clamp the rubber to the top of the mirror edge or mirror plate, the mirror surface. So here we go. I'm going to cut this to about a ½ inch out. I'm going to say ½ inch, maybe a wee bit more. I don't want to risk it, cut it too short. Right, there we go, so that's perfect, that side. So we'll tape this side, we'll finish this side, and then we'll move on to the other side. So there's the mirror finish for anybody that jumped on, that's wondering what I'm at there. I don't want to damage this when we go to sandblast. So we're going to tape it at the bottom, and the double-sided tape. Before I do that, this time I'm going to dab it with thinner, because we don't want a primer. Why not? So we want the tape sticking to the mirror finish. We don't want the sand getting up past it. Another good way would be get the surface a wee heat first with a blowtorch before applying double-sided tape like this. I don't want to do that because I don't want to work on the mirror finish too much. So I'm just dabbing this, not rubbing it, because if you rub it, liable to scratches if any grit's lying on the surface. So there we go. We'll wait that dries off there, and I'll just I'll just use my hand. So again, same as the other side, I'm going to be sandblasting to the top of the weld. So the top of my index finger there is my style of style leaving, and so this is welded with the MIG. I'll bring it up closer. So let me see. So them marks, see that mark there, it's just with thinners there now, blotches there. So see here at the top of my finger, I'm gonna have the tape just on the top. Okay. So I think it's where I had it still. No, it's just the thinners dried on side. So we're gonna have to cut the tape nice and clean first. Clean edge, square. And we're just going to sort of just the top, like so, of the weld, because it doesn't matter if it had this little sandblaster, because it's going to be covered in powder. The candy is going to flow into the mirror, some sort of shape or form. I don't know what it's going to look like. We'll see the crack when it's done. So I'm just going to take a mill off this too. Don't want to cut beside the mirror finish, as mentioned a wee minute ago, because it's too risky in scratching it again. And if I scratch it with scissors, it's stainless on stainless, and it's just going to score it. I'll need to go back to the start. Well, not the start, but I'll need to go to the sisal weld again. Then I have to go to the intermediate stage and the final stage. It's just too much work. So what I'm going to do now, right, is I'm going to cut the rubber to the bottom of the tape. So again, I'm just going to pull the rubber down and leave a wee mark on it like so. Make it a wee bit too low there. We'll see, I'll just put a wee another mark beside it. There we go. And I'm going to do the same to the other side here. So I'm marking to the bottom of the tape, not to the bottom of the plate. Okay, next stage now is giving it a mark with the permanent marker and with the straight edge. So let me see if I can find it here. So it would be better if I could set the ruler on it and cut along it, but I can't risk marking the mirror finish, so you just have to do it like this. So as you can see, it's quite dark out here. It's very dull. The storm still hanging, isn't it? Right. It just ruined the live streams this week. You hear the crows there too. It's not a good sign. Right. Now to the bottom. I'm just going to pull the tape. I'm going to remove this Let me see if I got a knife because my nails are useless. I think they're too big. So now pulling this side down to the bottom of the tape, nice and tight, like so. So when I go to sandblast this now, I'll be directing the nozzle downhill away from basically uphill. I don't want to be blowing this into a balloon. I don't want to be directing the sand uphill. This is the reason I sandblasted this frame already, because most of the work's done, and this is the reason I've addressed all the welds and stuff, because I don't want to be interfering with this too much when these mirror plates are completed. So round this side now, and it's the last time for anybody that might have just jumped on there. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm just going to lift this to show you. So and below these pieces of rubber here, we've got mirror finish that I put a lot of work into this thing, so I don't want the grit from the sandblaster getting in. So again, this side I think I cut down to the bottom of the plate. Yeah. So I go a wee bit lower at this side. Down to the bottom of the plate. So we'll get back to the other projects next week, hopefully. So now again a wee fine mark. Well, off the marker. Not that fine, it's done. So it doesn't matter if the rubber's a wee bit high, because I will be powder coating a wee bit up the stainless plate, but it's just I might. The well's nice and clean, as you can see at the plate. I've got it feed now, so it doesn't really need sandblast at that part. So here we go, cut this too, but I just double check again. So we're not too high and not too low. I think that's alright. So there we go. What's that look like? That's perfect. Okay, so we're nearly done here. I'm going to stick. I need to dab it with the rag. With thinner. Far too much. So just giving it a wee dab there, the stainless plate. So tape, the double-sided adhesive sticks to it. Nice, and so it doesn't peel off. Or what's the point? Using a good tape, but not much you can do. So here now, the 4 edges, I'm going to be doubling these over. I'm going to be pushing this in like so, and we're going to be like creating a seal using the rubber. I will see, I might be cable tying it like this, nice and tight. So no sand now can get near my mirror plates. And as I say, when I sandblast this, I'll be directing downhill, always. Apart from what I'm doing here, the back side. So we're going to stick this tape on 2 seconds. When this dries off, I'll just use my hand again. So I don't want to use a rag, because if there's grit in the rag, it'll be annoying to leave any marks on it. So this time to the bottom of the plate. Perfect. So I'm down on the weld, right? As I say, but that doesn't matter. The weld's lovely and clean. So I'm just going to cut that too, nice and clean. But a mil away from the end there, that cut rough. That's okay. So here we have the slot for the QS205, and it's sitting polished. The edges are smooth. There's no sharp edges. If you dig into the axles, they are immaculate. So pulling this piece of rubber down now for the final time. So here we go, there's the mirror finished. Goodbye. The next time you see it will be during the powder coating. So here we go. When the powder coating's complete. So there we have it, everyone. The two plates are covered. So I now just need to close the ends, right? I haven't made my mind up yet what way I'm going to do this. But we'll figure it out here in a couple of seconds. Just when I clean this bench up a bit. So it's important that these are tight. So obviously when I go to sandblast here, I won't be directing the nozzle to the rubber, the pieces of rubber here, the tire tube. I'll be focusing on the metal parts of the stainless steel, but not the rubber pieces here. The sandblasting won't penetrate this because it's just going to bounce off it. But you know, what's the point in sandblasting? This one's no quality. So these stainless plates, it doesn't matter if the grit hits them and sort of leaves them rough because they are only hangers for the oven. I'll get the bit here in the garage. Hold on. So when I say the hanger, this is the bit that will run on my tracking system that I designed for the powder coating booth. So that sits at the right height in my oven that I custom built for alloy wheels. So what I'm going to do here now is that won't be on when I go to sandblast the frame. That will only be on during the applying of the powder using the statically charged powder, and that will only be on when this is in the oven. So this will be hanging on this and it won't be sitting in the oven. So it will be completely covered in powder. When I remove these black pieces of rubber, there will be a lovely mirror finish below it, but we have to do this in different stages. Say, not the rubber is only going to be done once for the sandblasting. The powder coating stage has to be done, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So the last step here now, right, is, let me see if I get this camera set up. The last step here now is, like a look there. There's better, right. So we don't need all this rubber. I'm just going to put it straight in the bin. Maybe, just keep it. I was going to say I'll put it in the bin, but I'll keep these two bits and this bit. I'll scrap these. So the next step now is closing the ends. So, car tube, and there's your valve. I was actually going to sample put the QS273 in it onto the frame, but there's no point because it's covered up now. So let me put my square back together. So next Saturday, won't be days during the week. But next Saturday I'll be sandblasting it and powder coating it. Well, yeah. I'll be doing the primer and the base anyway of the powder coating or of the sandblasting. So what I need to do here now is close these ends, right? I could put a piece of double-sided tape in between the rubber, like in the middle here, and squeeze it. But the problem is I'm leaving this open at the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a wee bit of double-sided tape on here at the bottom first. So it needs to be 10mm wide because the plate's 10mm wide. So I'll bring this into view here. So I'm just going to do USB A here. So we're going to stick this in here. Like that. So basically what I'm trying to do here is pull this round, and I don't know what I'm trying to do, to be honest. Yeah, so pull this round and have this clamped. I might put a bit of tape on there. I don't think the tape's going to hold that. So I'll go out in the garage here and get some cable ties. They're going to need to be long. Let me think. What other way could I do this? If I had some way of glue. If I glue it, couldn't I? I wonder if the super glue is going to be any good. Would I go get super glue here? No, I can't do that. That's too risky. Because if it opens, once the sand gets in there, you know, I'll just leave the plates all messy. So I'm going to stick to my original idea here. I'm going to pull this around the corner. I'm not going to use tape. I'm going to cable tie it. So I might have like a, well, if I had a flat surface, the depth of this, and I clamped the flat surface here and used the cable ties at this side for the same task. So I'm going to go get cable ties. I need to get a couple of bits of plate this depth. A Jenga block or something would do, but maybe something. What do we see what I got here? Piece of stainless steel would be better, but I don't have anything cut and I don't want to bring the grinder out. I could chance it and I could go cable tie. I could maybe put 3 cable ties on it. So I'll go and get cable ties. Hold on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here before I move on, right? Geez, them cable ties are very skinny, aren't they? But I got more other ones. So I've got these ones instead, standard size. So the 4.5mm. Let me see if I get them out here. Okay, so we're going to use the same cable ties for. Well, there's not that many there, is there? I've got more in there. Where do I go and get them? I have that many bags of cable ties. Just that many different kinds. So we see. So I need 3, 3 and 3, 9 for each side. Well, what do we see? If I'm doubling up here, what do I see? How many? Or 2 go around it? Yes. So we need 6. We need 12 for each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, but need 2 more. And they're too skinny. Where'd I go get more? Okay, so I've got the same, only smaller. So 4.5 and they're only 200 long. But that's alright, we can double up again if need be. So the first thing I've done to say now is I've placed a wee bit of double-sided tape to the bottom here. So that's to act as a seal to keep the sand out. So I need to do the same for this one. Okay, so we'll bring this up close. So cutting a wee bit of 10mm. Is that bit of rubber here? So 10mm wide. That's not 10mm, that's about 9, what do we see? That's 10mm. Okay, so here we go. So that will act as a seal here now when I take the top layer off. So we'll do that now. Right, so that's that side done. I'll do this one. Right, there we go. So let's get this closed up here now. Next week I'll start sandblasted. I'm looking forward to it. Get her done once and for all. So the first thing I need to do here now is pull this over nice and tight. So see the way I've this here side, this flap now, this part of this rubber is stuck to the double-sided tape. I need to now put a wee bit of pressure on this and pull this over like so, but keep it all overlapped like that. And when I put the cable tie on it, like so, it will close the ends up. But I need to do this end first before I can do that. So we're going to have this one pulling this way, because when I'm pulling the cable tie, we want this to pull around. And this one's going to be going the other way, like a circular motion. So when I pull the cable tie, it'll be going the same way. It'll tighten in the same way, okay? So let's get her done this side too. So this flap needs to come in this way, nice and tight, and pull this round, making sure that we have this completely closed up. Okay, but to do this, it's not going to be easy because I don't have another set of hands. So what do we see what's going to happen here? I could do with a friend right now. Right, what do we see? I don't know what I'm going to do. So if I have this like this, how do I hold that there? Because I don't want to use too many cable ties, and we need to work off the sides. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to do the middle first. No, I'll do the middle first. That cable tie's on the wrong way. It's that way, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's right. So when I pull a cable tie, I'm pulling this way. Yeah. So let's go again. Have this end nice and tight and snug. Keep this flap underneath. Should I, before I do anything, put a wee bit of double-sided tape on here to close up the hoop at the top? So what do we see? We'll do that too, another wee bit. So a wee bit, maybe 10mm again at the top. But it's going to be on the rubber this time. So as you can see, it's a slow process. But I'm getting there. Right, we're going to put this as close to the top as possible, I think. Yeah. So if you can imagine, when I crimp this, I'm closing up this hoop at the top. So what do we see? I'll put it this long way maybe. Serious about the work, isn't it? Put there and about. There we go. So we're up to the top. I'm just going to crimp it. See the way now I've closed the hoop at the top, so no sand will get in there, right? So we need to do the other end too. So let me cut another bit here. So with 10mm wide, and we're going to remove the backing of it first. Because imagine trying to do that on there. Right, same thing again. So up at the top of the hoop, as tight as possible. Doesn't matter if it's too far up. No, up on it, just push it up. The closest. It's touching the top even. There we go. So I'll just cut that off. So there we have it closed. Down here at the bottom. What I could do here is I could remove the excess up a wee tiny bit, like so. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull this round. Well, do you know something? I could cut a wee bit more off it, you know, to have it nice and neat. What do I see? What do I see? If you can see what I'm doing there. So I'm basically just going to have about, we don't want this backing bit interfering with this bit coming round. We don't want too much rubber in there. Yeah. I'm not wise. Right, so again we're going to do this side too. We want about 10 mil from the edge of this plate out. And we're just going to leave that wee bit at the end for the seal. Okay. So that's it now, ready for the cable ties. So remember, I need the cable ties going a certain direction here. So I want it this way, because when I pull, I want to be pulling the flap over. I probably could have run the double-sided tape the whole way up the edge here, but it's alright, it's done now. So keeping this one tucked in nice and tight. Might be better working on the bottom first, we'll see. There, so that's tight now. But the problem is, how do I do the lower side? I just have to go for it, Keep that on there tight. Right. So now I need to work at this side. So I'll bring it around this way. So instead of work it because there's cable ties already on it. And it's pulling it round, look. It's pulled, but when I pull the cable tie this way now, it'll assist in pulling it around the corner nice and tight. Yeah. So that's only one cable tie on. I would prefer that joint away from the where I'm pulling. So what do you see if I can move this round? I might need to just put another. I might need to put another cable tie on it. No, I've got it. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to try and close this up better. The rubber's just a wee bit too big in there, but it's alright. Some work. So we're going to do another one now. Remember the cable tie, the direction's important. When I pull this now, if I pull this in, I just don't like that hump there. So I'll keep this now about right to the very bottom of the plate, this one. Maybe about 10 mil up or 5 mil up. We're just going to lock it up there. I could put a plate in there to hold this rubber in tight, but when I go to sandblast this, what I'll do is I'll maybe hold a piece of timber there or something, just to make sure the rubber doesn't give. Okay. So that's that one done there now. Oh, I'm going to do the top too. So we're going to close up the top now. At this point, just be pulling this right. So that means now no rubber can impact the mirror finish. If it gets in, which it more likely will, it's alright being in there, but just don't work the surface. Yeah, until it's cleaned. When I say cleaned, until it's blown off, or yeah, maybe touch and dab with a sponge first, maybe. Because obviously mirror finish is easy marked. So I'm working on the hoop here at the top. At both the edges. There we have it. It's finished there now. I should have put the seal down the face. Might do that yet, but well, I'll do it. Might just do it now. I'm wasting cable ties. If I can open them instead. Okay, so I changed my mind. I'm going to apply the rubber down this face completely. It's a better idea, I think. I'll leave that bit there. So I'll just have to go again. So if I knew about this at the start, I could have done it at the start. So I need to cut this to 10mm now. Roughly. If it's a wee bit smaller, it doesn't matter because it's only acting as a seal. So there we go. Not take that much longer. If I get this one done, I might just do the other one off camera. The other side there. So, putting this on the face in there. Sticky. Can I get my fingers off it? Okay, so this time we're going to push the flap over and close it completely. So see what I've done there? And what I'm going to do now, right, is I'm going to put another bit on here. Should have done it this way from the start. What was I doing? What was I thinking? I was thinking too much about the camera, I think. Right. So now no sand can get on at all. Yeah. Oh. Look at that now. So the cable ties now, but I'm going to stick this side now when I'm at. What, I got more tape cut here. I'm not liking how this welder's looking. So I'm cutting this about the depth of the plate. So I think it's about, what is it, 70mm or something. And I'm just cutting it under 10mm. Roughly. Or half on it, splitting it. We'll put the bigger, wider bit at the bottom. Okay. So the reason I'm removing this first is because it's too hard to get in there. Peel it off a wee bit, maybe. I'll bring the phone round so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to work up to the top, right up to the top here. There we go. We're going to cut this. And we're going to remove it. See, I didn't take that off. I think I got it now. Come on, you boy. Okay, so this one now, remember, I'm going to pull a wee bit tighter and just pull it over on the double-sided tape. So now I'm ready to cable tie, but again, I'm going to just tape this one too. And that bit of tape in there will act as the seal for the loop. There we go. So pulling this round now, and now we use the cable ties. So that's much better this time, isn't it? So I finally got my thinking head on this morning and this afternoon. So we're going to use the cable ties that I opened there, and I'm going to. That's no good this way, right? Because if you look at it, when I pull the cable tie, I'm pulling the cable tie around, away from the direction, in the opposite direction. I don't want that. So I need to have the cable tie this way. So if you can imagine, when I'm pulling this down, I'm pulling the flap around. I'm not working against myself. So hopefully I'm explaining that there. Alright, so, okay, so next step here now, I could do, as I mentioned earlier on, I could do another set of hands, but the double-sided tape now is helping me. So I'm going to start at the top this time, and I'm going to keep the ends of the cable tie, the latching mechanism, to the middle of the plate. So we have a nice radius here on the cable tie pulling in. Keeping the cable tie nice and parallel to the top of the plate also. And there we have it. So look at that this time, it's far better. Far better. Okay, so I'm just going to come around this side now. So when I pull this side now, I'm just going to line it up. Same thing. I'm just going to pull it here. Remember, close this completely now, and no sand can get in there because of the seal that I've created. Obviously, don't want to pull these cable ties too tight because they're not that strong, are they? These ones aren't anyway. I don't know what's wrong with them. Right. So now we're going to work on the middle of the plate. We're going to close this flap even more. Remember, cable ties is in the right direction here. We're just going to put, we don't need to pull it because it's taped.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, how's it going?
Good.
Very good, nice walk.
You what?
Nice walk, are you getting a nice walk out there?
What are you waiting for the council?
No, I have to put them around the back, I just never got time. I stripped them all.
Would the council not lift them?
They would lift ones that's full with the transformers and all on them, but there's just, them ones is ones that I stripped for the parts.
All right.
I thought of that a while ago now, and I just never got time to lift them yet. I'm busy. Right. Okay, so cable tie there now at the bottom. So about 10 mil up from the bottom here. Thereabouts. It's important, but it, there, look, that's perfect now. Would you look at that? So there we have it. So we have this lovely flap now that's acting as a seal. If I was to blow sand this way, no sand's going to get in because there's 2 layers of double-sided tape. There's double-sided tape on the mirror finish and there's double-sided tape on the overlap at this point on here. So but I can work away at this now. I can sandblast it, but I'll do it next week. I'll cut these cable ties, get them out of the way. As I say, when I go to sandblast this point, particularly this flat plate, I will get something like a flat surface, like a plate, and I'll just, like a stainless plate here. What do we see what I've got? So there's one there, it's a bit of scrap. So I'll cut the cable tie now and just show you what I'm talking about. So if I cut, oh no, actually I can't. I'll tighten the other side. I still need to tighten these a bit more. Okay, so when I go now to sandblast in here, I won't depend on the piece of rubber. I'll put this bit of stainless on the gat and I'll direct the nozzle where I need to sandblast, which is that stainless plate. That's actually a stainless plate there, by the way, that cap. Them welds is steel. That welds is steel. And I don't know I mentioned that, but there you go. So it's finished there now. That side's finished. I have to do the other side now. I don't know if I'm going to stay on and do it here. I might just do that. Why not? I'll just stay on. Right. A wee bit of work on it, as you can see. It won't take as long as time, hopefully. But as I mentioned there, the direction of the cable ties is important. The orientation, where I have them, see they were all coming this way. Do you know what I'm not gonna do? Is I'm not gonna pull them too tight because they'll break. So I'm just gonna cut them. So that side's finished, right? So now how many cable ties have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, how many than 8, 6. So I've got 2 short ones. I'll move all the stuff here in the way. It'll take 15 minutes to finish this, maybe. So we need that. We need the knife, the scissors. We don't need them baby cable ties. I think they're bought out of Screwfix. Right. As you can see, I like keeping the bench clean before I start working on there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this one too, right? So this plate over here is completely sealed up. We've got the bottom bare, so we'll stay on this plate. The bottom is bare, doesn't matter about that. So here we go, again, must go ahead here. So the first thing I need to do here this time, right, to seal up this loop, this in between here, right, is I need to cut this 10 mil and no more, because if it's any more, it's only going to interfere with this flap at the back side coming round. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut it here. So remember, I don't take it up completely fully, because so I can go ahead here now and just tape this, you know. why not? I'll just keep her lit now and I'm at it. So we're going to split this in two. It's 20mm wide. I'm going to put the wider bit at the back. So this bit's going on here. I'm going to... It's getting very dark out here. Where's my knife? Right. So next week I will have this thing looking like nothing else. So we're just going to put this on here. Like all my projects. So next thing I need to do now is a loop at the top to close the loop. So this needs to be 10mm wide. I'm going fast here now because I don't know, it's like a storm is appearing again. So this was meant to be done yesterday, but the phone line blew down. Or a tree blew down, a bit of a tree, big massive tree, and smashed the phone line in half. So that loop's closed. I had to repair it myself because OpenReach are too busy. Because of the storm. So doubling this bit over. That's it there now. Next part now is putting a bit of tape on here. As far up as I can get it. So this creates a seal between the two pieces of rubber. And we're just going to pull this tight and just pull it around the corner. Okay, so that's now ready to be cable tied. Good job. Just stay there. Look at drill's going to fall on the ground. Right. We're going to do this. We're going to close this up now and we're at it. Never mind the dirty wall in the background. We're going to split this. Okay, and we're going to use the wide one from the back. So we've got that lovely mirror finish protected. Okay, we're going to... I forgot to cut this. So I need to have this... I need to cut this side because I want to keep the two of them opposite. Otherwise this is not going to work the way I want it to work. And that's using the cable ties. So I'm sort of working clockwork motion, if that makes sense, one direction. So if you can imagine, if I was rotating this way now, I don't want the two, these cut bits on this side because they're only going to work against each other when I'm pulling the cable tie. So we'll tighten in as well. So we'll cut this now. 10mm, well, I could go a wee bit, making sure I don't mess this up. No, let me see. That's all right. Don't want to go up full here because we need I need the protection, the loop closed to the top even. So here we go, we're going to close that now and we're at it. I'll get my knife. So the rain stayed away. So there's that loop closed. And now we're just going to pull this right, like so. And now we're going to put this bit of tape onto this piece of rubber, or this part of the rubber I should say, on this edge. We'll cut this clean. So we've now got a good seal there. Next step is pulling this piece of rubber around the corner. And we're ready for the cable ties. Okay, so we've got the seal done. We'll get our cable tied up here now. What do I see? I got. I'm running out of big long cable ties, so I have to join a wee one. So the direction in the cable ties in which I'm pulling here is important. So if you can imagine now when you're pulling the cable tie, you're pulling it down this way. If I do it this way, I'm working against the flap, just like what's happening there. So it's no good. So we're going to put this on roughly first. So in the middle first, no, it's the top I done first. And we're going to keep the latching mechanism of the cable ties to the middle of the plate, rather than having it over the end here. We've got a nice radius of the cable tie. We're using the radius of the cable tie. And now the middle here. They're using a small cable tie. It's not long enough, is it? We're going to have to use another one. Right, we'll try and so we've got this nice seal. No sand, no grit can get on there because of the loop that I've created. This nice neat layout here. So if we don't have a big bit of clumsy rubber overhanging or anything. So a cable tie now at the bottom. Well, 3. Because I only have 2 long ones here. So this turned out really well, as you'd expect. I have that on the wrong way, don't I? No, I don't. So I'm just going to push that cable tie down a wee bit there. Just a wee bit too high, it's alright. I can release it again anyway with a knife here. I don't know, it's too high. Too fussy, just right there. Stay down a bit, boy. We don't want it down too low because the plate that I'll be putting on here, that's alright there now. So I'll tighten these up them. There we have it, everyone. So that's it done. So we have the 2 mirrored plates completely sealed up. I'll top her up on our side here. So you can see I've got the tape to the bottom of the plate, the double-sided tape. Don't know if that phone's focused or it's my eyes. So that's it. All ready for the sandblasting stage. The 2 rubber plates. I could sandblast away there now, and I know the stainless plates are safe. I should say the mirror finished plates are safe. So thanks for watching, everyone, to the genuine, and also thanks for watching to the haters. We know they're watching too. So goodbye, everyone. Do come again to see more unique projects. Worldwide unique projects. Goodbye.